Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is FRC 2013 season and round 4 out of 16. And we're back for another qualifying this season. And this time it's not Bahrain as the 4th round of the season, but India. And we're at the Wood International Circuit. As all 22 drivers are ready. And qualifying has already begun. Yep, your commentator today is Ruspro. Let's see if anyone will join me today, as we're starting pretty early. But still, today we have both qualifying and race. Talking about the last race results, it was Sabovic winning the race for the first time since Silverstone in 2012, and finishing second and third were this man, Jafar Blackwood on P3, and the Ferrari driver, Montenegrin Vucci Carmen, finishing on second after his disaster at Malaysia. Here it is. I guess you already noticed something interesting going on with him, and it is his new helmet. You can see the T-cam sometimes disappearing on his Ferrari car, but I guess it's alright. Well, again it is the Nick De Vries helmet, but this time it's the 2022 version. De Vries used during the Italian Grand Prix. I think you already know about it, so yeah. Anyways, Jafar Blackwood, the current championship leader, is now on his lap. He has about 6 points lead in front of Jack Teasley, who is on second, and Adam Hidet is on third, but the gaps are already crucial after the first 3 rounds. So it is 25 points between Blackwood and Hidet, between P1 and P3, and Hidet can only get the championship lead if after this race, if Blackwood and Teasley makes mistakes or something like that, if they start pretty low or they just simply retire. But it's not about taking the lead in the first races of the season, but it's about scoring as much points as you can and trying to be consistent. Blackwood, the first driver to complete the lap, and it is 1:25.933. Teasley is on second, just 6,000 slower than Russian P3, Oscar P4. Holker goes third fastest. Here is an HRT of Rain Adam, and it is him on P6. Fernando does on P3, and these are the two Toro Rosso drivers. Lone will be on P6 and Hanabus on P4. Rosetta Martinez will be on P5. Rodrigo Jimenez P7, and Max Mittler does not get the provisional pole yet. P3 for him, P4 for Fraser, and P1 for Santino. After the first 3 races, he scored just 20 points, and here is Sabovic, the Chinese Grand Prix winner, going to be the fastest in this session so far. Andrew Parcells on P12, and the last two drivers are Johansson on P19 and Vucicarian on P8. Can say that Ferrari is in the great form in the start of this season. Only 2 times they made it to the podium. It was last race at China, it was Uchi Carmen, and in Malaysia it was Max Midler. Let's talk about the history of this Grand Prix. First time it was held in 2011, and it was won by Red Bull, and it was a 1-2 for them, with Gabriel winning and Bagus finishing second. It was an opportunity for Max Miller to win the championship back then at India, but he failed after crashing out on lap 1. And what about the 2012 season? Well, Abovich won this race, and Max Miller actually managed to finish this race, but only in P4, 1 position away from the podium. Yuri Gabriel was not racing then, as we know, and unlike in 2011, Red Bull actually had a double retirement, so they were not classified and they were shown as P21 and P22 in their final results. And also, let's not forget the hilarious moment with Jacob Holger, when he did everything but and he was trying to do everything but still couldn't make it to the pit lane, and he was suspended for 1 race after that. This is JT Easley starting his lap. As I said, he was second in the Driver Championship of the Chinese Grand Prix, and in China it was not about trying to finish ahead of Blackwood, because we just 5 laps to go, or even 10 laps. It was Max Miller on P3, and he just had to stay on this position and try to finish as high as he can. But he had not the best pace, and that's why he let Jafari through, and Jake just had to overtake Max Miller at any cost to stay as close to Jafari as he can in the championship. So here is the British driver already about to complete the first sector of this Indian circuit, and it is a time of 38.7. A very good result for him so far. Now it is some fast corners here, turn 5, 6, 7, now into 8 and 9, and into the long hairpin of turns 10 on the entry and turn 11 on the exit. Still faster than his previous time on sector 2, but slower than Avovic by 1/10 of a second there. Now it is turn 15, trying to cut as much as you can before entering the turn number 16. Clipping the apex but not touching the curb, only on the outside. And crossing the line. So it is a P4. Here's Rodrigo Jimenez as well, going through turn 16. It was B9 for him last week, and it is P14 for him now. Blackwood up in the first place. It was a great lap. Samatoskan P17, but still not good enough to make it to top 16. Who's the next one? It is Max Mietler, then Horlicker, and then Benji Rushton. So last week he finally managed to make it into Q2, and now he is on P16. Hidayat P6, and Gujiakaza. He's on P19 at the moment, but he can improve. He does so after the middle sector. He's faster by 1/4 of a second. So let's see. He will be on P13. What an awesome lap he had. Brilliant job. Fraser is on P9, and Bobovic, yes, it is going to be P2 after his second run, as he does not stay in the lead. Andrew Paracelsus leaving the pits pretty late, and can't show any good times on his lap. He managed to qualify on P11 last time, so it was 2 times out of 3 when he was in Q2, and it was in the last 2 races, as in Australia qualified on P19, with his best result this season being P11 in Shanghai. Just 28,000 separate Blackwood and Abovic, and the world top 10. The world top 10 contains 10 drivers from just 5 different teams, which are, of course, Mercedes, Red Bull, Lotus, and Ferrari plus P9 and P10, the McLaren drivers. Again, it is pretty busy on the pit lane. Nobody wants to lose any time. But even the double stack happens during the qualifying in the pits of Toro Rosso. And Luan just loses a bit of time in the pit lane. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What was that? Here is Paracelsus, finally entering the pits when his... no, not his teammate, sorry. Nicholas Johansson is already on track 5 minutes ago, and I think it's one more try to for everyone to go as fast as they can in this Q1. And this is Fernando Dawson P10. Looks like McLaren is looking for some money to improve their car, and that's why they need some new sponsors like this one on their nose and here as well. Nicholas Johansson starts the lap. Hopefully he will not be blocked by Daniel Fraser, he is not. And that's why these guys will be a problem for drivers like Jimenez and Tilsley. Already start their laps. Here is Alex Luan. Let's get a view from the camera on his rear wing. And likely he does not block anyone behind him. Nicholas Johansson P21, he definitely has to improve, and just 11 thousandths of a second off his previous lap. The next one is Rodrigo Jimenez, also pretty tight, he's on P15, but he's still 10th of a second faster than Russian on P17. Jake Tilsley cannot improve as well. So back to Johansson, another good sector, but it's not good enough. He has to try better. And now turn 16. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Definitely nobody will go for the 4th lap, and Niels Johansson up into P20, and he is out of Q1. What will happen to Rodrigo Jimenez? He also finishes his lap, but with no improvement at all, just like Jake Tilsley. But there is Rain Adam 0.2 of a second faster. Will he get the Q2 spot or not? Let's find out. But I think it's going to be not enough for him, and he'll be only on P20 to move Niklas Johansson back down to P21. And Lidmin Pasalic will be starting last tomorrow, unfortunately. Jafar Blackwood stays in the lead with Max Mittler from P7 to P7. See, Andrel has no improvement. Samedoskan is out of Q1 as well. Aboish on P2 and Benji Rushton. Will he make it or not? The split times say that he won't. But let's see, maybe the miracle is going to happen. He will be on P6 at least. He crosses the line and stays on P17. This is Adam Hidayat. Seems like he'll stay on P6 this time, and yes, he will. Niklas Johansson had another good lap, but he's pitting now. And Vucci Carmen is already through, but he surely wants to improve. Probably he'll even finish ahead of his teammate Max Mittler. No, he won't. These were good 2 sectors until the lap was ruined on sector 3. So no more drivers, and it means Q1 is over. Out of it, we have Benji Rushton once again, Alex Luan, Samet Oskan, Rain Adam, Niklas Johansson, and Litmin Pasalic. Jimenez barely makes it through, just like Jacob Holker. And also Hakuji Akaza, the HRT, is on P13. Anyway, see you in a couple of minutes for Q2. We're back at India for Q2. And this is Danny Fraser, the McLaren driver, going through the middle sector on his out lap. Not the worst start of the season for him. He already got a podium and he's running on P8 in the championship with 19 points in his bag. He retired in his first race for McLaren, but right the next week he got his podium with this team and he kept his top 10 streak in China with a P8 finish. So now he's going down the long straight after turn 3. Braking about 15 meters before turn number 4. Another pretty long straight, and this is the split time of his 39.015, 38.9 for Drew Jimenez, 2 tenths faster. And into turn 10 and 11 it is for Danny Fraser. A good exit. And 101.931. And Jimenez is just 3 tenths faster. And it is Danny Fraser's lap complete, and he shows us the time of 1:26.459. 3 tenths of a second slower than Jimenez. And I was up in the third. Armin 1:25.961, but it is his P1 just for a moment, as Hidayat is on P1 now. What about Jafari Blackwood? He finished Q1 on provisional pole, and looks like he is going to continue doing such things as he is on P1 right now in Q2. Holker only on P10. Parcells P11. Fernando Tost. And he was faster than his teammate by 2 tenths of a second. That's just too much. And the last driver is Abobovic. As he completes the lap, just 3 thousandths of a second slower than Blackwood. And it seems like their rivalry in this qualifying continues. Back to the pit lane. Not that much traffic now, because there are less cars in Q2, and probably that's why. But still, some drivers have to slow down. And some have to wait for their teammate to be pushed into the pits. This is the man. Hakuto Akaza had a mega lap in Q1, which put him in on 13th position, and that's how he ended up in Q2. Although he's 0.3 of a second slower than Fraser on P15. And not any of these two drivers are happy with their result in Q2 so far. I'm sure that at least Daniel can improve. So it is two Ferraris and a McLaren will be the first three drivers to start a lap. And it is Max Mittler. As I said earlier, in Q1 he barely missed out on a podium position in Shanghai, and as a result he finished 5th. What about Malaysia? Will he finish 2nd? Just 0.3 of a second behind Jafar Blackwood. It was a close one. And just like Daniel Fraser, a good result in China, a podium in Malaysia, and a retirement at Melbourne Park. Sorry, Albert Park, of course. Let's see, Max Mittler starts his lap, braking about 75 meters before the corner to turn 1. It is turn 2 and a slow turn 3. And just before the very technical part of the track, there will be two long straights separated by turn 4. And that's where the Welshman goes. Oh, we could see he has some strange vibrations there. I believe it was a minor lockup, and he's just 24 thousandths of a second faster than Blackwood on his first sector. Getting into turn 10 and 11. Turn 12. And let's see. Oh, he's a bit slower there. So will he be on P1, or Blackwood will stay there? And still, Smithler has a great lap. The lap was definitely good, and it puts him on 4th position only. Look how close it is. Just 4 drivers in 500ths of a second. Fraser still only on P15. And Bagus is on P6. Paracelsus doing good as well. And from P13 he moves up onto P9. Hide at P1. Now it's not that close in the standings anymore. Andreoli P6. Nobus has no improvement unlike Hakuja Akaza, but he still stays on P16, just like Dana Fraser. An improvement, but still no positions gained. TSL P4, he had an improvement as well. And this is it, everybody is going into the pits. Yeah, right now both Toss and Fraser are not going into Q3. P14 and P15 for them. McLaren have a good qualified form, I think, because it's good for a midfield team to uh, go to Q2 as many times as they can, and out of 3 races, at least one car of McLaren was in Q3 in 2 races. So it was in Australia when Toss qualified on P10, and in China when Fraser qualified P10 as well. And in Malaysia on round 2, the result for them was also P14 and P15, with Tost on 14th position and Fraser starting 15th on the next day. And this is Fuji Carmen. He barely missed out on the pole position in Shanghai by just 0.02 of a second.
2 minutes remaining.
Didn't have time to go for another run like Abovic. Abovic was improving and was the fastest after sector 1. He only finished on P3 in that qualifying. So after 3 races, Armin's lowest qualifying result was only P7 in Sepang. Here is Erika Hanebusa, the only Toro Rosso in this Q2. Sloan didn't have a good qualifying today, and he ended up completing Q1 on P18. Let's see if Jimenez will actually make it into Q3. He is at risk not only of not starting this lap, but also of not making it into the last part of the qualifying. Oh, it's going to be close there. And Armin will be held up, of course, thanks to Fernando Tost. It's not like these things have to. It's not like drivers have to be penalized for these, but I really hope that actually I have some time and I will just calculate all the warnings and all the penalty points of these first 4 rounds of the season, because I haven't done so yet. Fraser starts his lap. It's his final opportunity, just like for Hideo and Bios, to stay in, to make it into Q2. I mean, Hideo already made it. What about Bagus? Martinez, not enough time, so he will be starting from P11 today. Yeah, today, not tomorrow. Let's not forget that right after this qualifying, the race is coming up. Howjak will be starting from P16, and let's get back to the drivers. Armin 3 tenths slower, and we know why. Erika Hanebusa doing good, but she has to improve by 1/10 of a second, and she didn't do so after the middle sector. Let's see. And Hanebusa, she will be on P12. This is the Fraser. He's doing good as well. Not only after the first sector, but after the middle one as well. Fraser will be anything better than P15, and it is P11. So close, just 500ths of a second away from a Q3 appearance. Hideo and Bagos both don't have any improvements, and this is our Q2. Over Fraser will be starting from P11 today, Martinez from P12, and 100% Horlicker P13 and P14, and P15 Fernandos with P16 Hakujakaza, but at least this man made it into Q2. Once again, Q3 will start in just a few minutes time. Q3 time, and we'll find out who'll be on pole for today's race. These are the guys who made it to Q3 out of all the field teams. Rodrigo Jimenez and Henry Parcells are our lucky boys today. As these final two spots in Q3 are like a lottery. You never know who will end up there. Last time it was Jimenez and Fraser. In Malaysia it was Lon and Hanabusa, two Torosos, and in Australia it was again Rodrigo Jimenez and Fernando Tost. So it is Jimenez's third appearance in Q3. But good qualifying doesn't always mean that you will finish on some high positions as well. As Jimenez only scored 3 points in the last 3 races. Talking about the Formula 1.5 drivers, Daniel Fraser is the highest in the championship among all these midfield teams drivers with 19 points. Then it is Alex Luan with 14, Reza Martinez on P3 with 12, P3 from 1.5 or something. And then it is Fernando Tost 10 points, Eric Hanabus 6, Jimenez 3, Adam 2, Jake Pahorliker with 2 points as well, and 1 point for Andrew Paracellas. And then it's just 5 drivers with no points: Rushton Johansson, Akaza Pasalik and Doskan, plus Aditya Bagos, who is driving for Mercedes this season, and I really hope that he will have no more bad luck this season and he'll finally make it into the top 10. For now it is Fuji Carmen starting his lap. And actually, Fuji Carmen's only Indian Grand Prix appearance in 2012, and it was retirement for him because of the electrical problems. And some random fact, just so you know, McLaren's only finish in India was in 2012, and that's when Abu Babovic won the race. In 2011, it was a double retirement for them, for Babovic and for Oven, and in 2012, as I said earlier, Fuji Carmen retired because of the problems with some electrical parts of the car. Hidayat completes the lap at his 125.925 and he stays on P1 after Armin has a pretty bad lap and he's on P3. Apovic 125.8, Jimenez only P4. And here comes Jake Tealsley, P2. And here's Aditya Bagos. Will he do better than Abobovic? P3. What about his teammate? Jafari Blackwood crosses the line and he is on P2 as well. And both Abobovic and Blackwood are close in today's qualifying standings again. Parcells P9, and the last driver will be Sant'Andreoli, and he's on P3.
Second row. Well done.
And talking about the history of the Grand Prix, of course, I forgot to mention the crazy uh, podium of the 2012 race, of course, about which won the Grand Prix, but what about the drivers on P2 and P3? Well, these were Erika Hanebusa and Nicholas Johansson, scoring his first and only podium in his FRC career. He didn't make it even into Q2 this time. I don't really have that much to say for the last two rounds of this qualifying, so let's have the first advertisement of the whole season, shall we? So anyways, if you're new to this championship and want to join, you can follow the link in the description to join our Discord server. There you can sign up for the test driver seat, which allows you to have a good chance of entering the next season. And if you get lucky and someone gets suspended or just leaves the server, or anyways, you can join one of the teams already this season to replace other driver. So that's how it works. And also, I said you that there will be some kind of most overtakes. Sorry, not most overtakes, but most positions gained throughout the season championship. And I didn't really give you any updates, so I hope that we'll actually do something like this after this race. At least I'd like to calculate all the positions and stuff. So I think we'll even make a special channel Discord dedicated to it, like season stats or something. So here is Max Miller. 45 thousandths of a second faster than on his previous run. Well, Adam Hidet improves and he's on P5. Just 2 thousandths of a second away from Tealsley. As Tealsley is crossing the line, he will stay on P4 and Smith will stay on P7 as well. But he will have an improvement, and Abobovic with a great lap he had 125.764. Bucci Carmen stays on P8, Jimenez stays on P9, and Parcella stays on P10. What about Blackwood? Just 55 thousandths of a second slower than Abobovic. So who's going to be on pole? The Jamaican or the Russian? Into turn 16 comes the Mercedes driver. His teammate is only in P6, and he's the only hope of Mercedes in this qualifying. Jeffrey Blackwood crosses the line and he stays on P2, but now just 54 thousandths of a second between Abovic and Blackwood in the bottom of the pole position. And really has no improvement as well, so he'll stay on P3. The provisional second row of the starting grid, and with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go, we still don't know who'll get the pole position, so let me know your opinion in the chat. Bosch already got the pole position at Malaysia. Bosch already won the race in Shanghai. The same situation for Blackwood, but another way around. It was pole position in Shanghai and a win at Malaysia. So looks like Aboch already got used to the car and ready to fight for some high positions or even for the championship. But I don't want to jinx him on such an early stage of the championship, or such an early stage of the season. Two minutes to go, and is that really it? Drivers have 30 more seconds to go out on track. But who will use this opportunity? Let's see. Oh, Hidet gets blocked. Hidet gets blocked by his teammate, but looks like it's alright. And Hidet will be back on track for his final run. What about other drivers? Will they stay in the pits? Yeah, they will. So let's see. Maybe it will be Adam Hidayat getting the pole position, who knows. Already 28, 27, 26, 1 minute and 25 seconds, and not a single driver has a chance to go out on track once again. Actually, I'm curious if I have fixed this bug with, not the bug actually, or just a feature. Yeah, I fixed it. So the animation is played properly, I guess. Adam Hidayat, will he start from P5? Will he start higher? Let's see. Technically and Bagus are on the track as well, but we don't really care about them. They will not start the lap anyways. Adam Hidayat crosses the line and starts his third lap in this session. Let's check his split time, but it is already a checker flag seen in the graphics. The time has run out. And then the question is, where will Adam Hidayat start the race? And this is not the best for a sector. Let's see if he can improve in sector 2. He goes through turn 6 and turn 7. Another chicane turn 8 and turn 9. Now turn 10, 11 and 12 before the last 4 corners of this track. And the time is even slower, so no doubt Adam Hidayat will be starting from 5th place. And he crosses the line, and surely he has got no improvement on this lap, so Abo should be starting from pole, with Blackwood on P2, Santino early 3rd, Jake Teasley 4th, then Hidayat, Bagus, Smitler, Armin, Jimenez, and Paracelsus. This is your top 10 for today's qualifying. Thank you for watching, but we're not finished yet, as we're starting the race in about 10 to 15 minutes. So see you everyone during the race, and goodbye.